Hey, how's your relationship going? No, not that one. Look, the one with you and your DM. You guys get along? Is it going well? Do you speak? Can you speak? I can't today. Do you guys work well with each other? Well, on this episode of Dungeon Dramatics, we're going to go in depth and teach you the do's and don'ts of getting along with your DM and making them love you. Now, this is different. On this episode, you're going to miss my beautiful mug, and you're going to have to sit through someone else's. And I'm sorry about that. But I promise they're very wise, and they're definitely not staring at me from off screen and giving me a weird look right now. I'm bringing on Todd Lambrix, the resident DM for Wither and Bloom Studios, as we are playing our Rising campaign right now. You definitely should check that out on Tuesday nights. But he's coming in, and he's going to tell you some things he loves that his players do. Todd, join us.
Thanks, Rich. I think. Yeah, this is a topic that I struggle with when I'm dealing with, I've got a game going, my players. Of course, as GMs, we know this. Players do things that irk us, that get us kind of thrown off a little bit. We want the game to run smoothly. We want things to kind of happen organically, but there are always going to be players that disrupt that situation. So what are some of the things we can do as players to not appease the DM, because I don't want to make this about me, but I want you to have a good relationship with your DM. So what do you do?
Number one.
One of the most frustrating things as a DM is when I get to your turn in combat and you have no idea what it is you're going to do. This happens for a variety of reasons. One, you got bored when it wasn't your turn during combat and you zoned out a little bit. So number one, pay attention to what's going on. Number two, you probably don't fully understand what your character is capable of, and you want to do something awesome, but you're just not familiar enough with your character to make that unfold in a natural way. At the end of the day, this is the deal. Be ready when it is your turn in combat to move effectively, move descriptively, or just do something. Don't hold up the game when it gets to you.
Number two, baby.
Try as a character to have an overarching kind of awareness of the total story that you're in a campaign in. Your DM spends a lot of time, especially if they're world building, they spend a lot of time building up a lot of the details and lore that contribute to this story that you're involved in. And if you're aware of all of that, visit your notes during the week between your sessions, look things over. And on top of that, one of the things that's really important in looking those notes over is try to see if there are details in your notes from many sessions ago that might be relevant now. Try to remember that your DM or GM, if they're really doing their job, that nothing is arbitrary, that all of these things that are laid out before you probably have some kind of relevance in the world. And if you're that player that knows that factoid from 9 sessions ago about that bartender who happened to mention that one small detail that all of a sudden became relevant now, you now become that person that helps push the story along. And that's really important to the flow of your game.
Number three.
One thing I love for my players to do in the game is be really descriptive in their actions. So this could be something kind of an action in combat, for example, where, rather than just, I'm going to attack the orc, it could be, I run across the room, slide underneath the table, grabbing the leg of the chair on my way, lift the chair up over my head, dumping the drinks onto the floor, then crack the chair over the orc's head. Detailed descriptions like this really add to the drama, and they help to fill in all the visuals in terms of theater of the mind. This doesn't have to just be in combat. You could talk about something as simple as how you light a campfire during the night when you're going to get into your long rest, or possibly how you open the door to a room inside of a castle. You could talk about how the iron of the handle feels in your hand and how it creaks and squeaks when you twist it. There are all kinds of ways in which you can do this. Now, of course, don't go overboard. Too many adjectives is probably a bad thing, but adding a little bit of spice and flavor to a description, that's awesome. Try to remember that there's more people than just you at the table. Don't be a hog. There are players out there that try to hog every single scene that's going down, even when they're not present in what's happening. So for example, are you that player that always needs to comment off to the side about a narrative that's taking place between two other characters, even if you're not technically there? Just stop. Let other people have their moment. One of the beautiful things about this game is that when everyone has a chance to shine on their own, it makes the game a much more enjoyable space for everybody. Don't insert yourself into everything. Hogs come in all shapes and sizes, from stage hogs, meaning you kind of have to be present in everything that happens, to loot goblins and that sort of hoggery where you just want to have everything for yourself. You are not the only person playing this game, so let it happen for other people. Now, on the heels of not being a hog, there's something else you should know, and that is for you to not be afraid to take some initiative in setting things up. So you can manage a situation and help other players get into their roles. So for example, you could start a conversation with another player around the fire to get them to talk about their backstory, or to potentially get someone to roleplay who may not otherwise roleplay. Or when some event unfolds inside of the game, don't always rely on the DM to give you the next thing to do. You can take initiative, and like a door is opened into a room and you can say, I immediately enter the room without thinking about it because I'm so excited to see the contents of this space. I look around, what do I see? Or you could say something to the effect of, when you walk into a tavern and you're gonna sit down for drinks and the DM is looking at all of you, jump in and say, come on guys, I got us a table. Let's go over here and sit down. It's right by the fire. This sounds great. We're not far away from the entertainment and I can have an easy access to the bar. There are ways in which you can kind of contribute to that don't take over the game, but initiate things. So take the reins once in a while.
Alrighty, thank you, Todd. Todd is a wonderful speaker and a very wise DM, and I appreciate him very much. And I'm not just saying this so that he'll give me an inspiration coin in our campaign.
Fuck that.
Okay, fuck that. I hope you enjoyed this advice. I hope you find a way to incorporate it into your campaign, and I hope it improves, your relationship with your DM and makes them a very happy DM. Because like we all know, happy DM, happy game, it's the way it goes. Now, remember that if you don't enjoy these rules, throw them out the window and tell me to go fuck myself. If you did enjoy them, please let me know down below. I really appreciate when you guys hop in the comments and tell me how this video affected you. Or maybe what are some things that you do that your DM loves. Either way, I've been Rich, and this has been Dungeon Dramatics, your #1 spot for improving your roleplay in TTRPGs. I try to make videos on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis, so please subscribe and like for that. Have a good week, guys, and I'll catch you next time.